Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaisnavam Sacha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sacha Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Guru Abhishtashapurakam Guru Ganayarashi Sasambhushitam Chinta Chinta Samastavedanipunam Shri Rupa Panthanugam Govindabhidam Ujjalam Vartanam Bhaktyanvitam Sundaram Ande Vishwa Guruncha Divya Bhagavad Premno Hibij Pradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandravadanam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandranandapuram Sadeka Varnam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Shri Siddhant Nidhim Shivakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Maram Vandetam Shubhadam Madeka Sharanam Nyasiswaram Śrīdharam Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Gaudiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhat Kakane Gaura Sankirtana Mayavad Timingalo Daragatan Udhritta Jivaniman Krishna Prem Sudabdiga Sukam Pradat Prabhum Tam Bhaje Namo Gaura Kishoraya Bhaktavadhuta Murtaye Gaurang Hripadma Bhrangahaya Radha Bhav Nishevine Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Sarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radharasa Sudhanadim Gaura Vrajashita Shaira Vaishnavaira Vanda Vigraham Jagannath Prabhum Vande Premabdhim Riddha Vaishnavam Mancha Kalpataru Bharscha Kripa Sindhu Hevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaudatase Nama Sashtang Dandat Pranam to all the Vaishnavas, devotees and servitors of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math worldwide. Welcome to our Friday evening session, our Sangha, where we're reading the Golden Volcano of Divine Love by Srila Bhakti Rakṣhak Śrīdhar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj. And also a Hardik Namaskar to all friends and well-wishers tuning in. I have our panelists and guests. Let me bring them on. Dandat Pranam and welcome Shripad Arun Krishna Prabhu. Dandat Pranam and welcome Shripad Chinmayadev Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna. And Anilji, our divine guest.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna. Very happy to have your divine association.
It's my pleasure too, sir.
Hare Krishna. So we are reading from the Golden Volcano of Divine Love. And we are going to begin Śikṣāṣṭakam. Till now we were at the first section. The contents have been organized as such that the first section has the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu as told by our Param Guru Mahārāj, Srila Bhakti Rakṣhak Śrīdhar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj. And then the second part, part 2, is the Śikṣāṣṭakam. So the Golden Volcano is dealt in the first section, and then the lava is dealt as Śikṣāṣṭakam in the second section. So, but before we get to that, there is one section that is left. So if you guys, if the panel permits, then I can begin and of the part 1 and then finish this and then get to Śikṣāṣṭakam. All right, okay. So this is, the section reads, a great tragedy. This is Param Guru Maharaj. We must return back to Godhead, back to home. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, your home is a beautiful land. You must strive for that. Why are you always troubled with the horrors of war, epidemic, earthquake, undesirable disease, stealing, dacoiting, and fighting with so many neighbors? At the bottom of all this is the fact that you have identified yourself with this material world and this body of flesh and blood. You have to retrace your path and go back to your home. That is what is necessary. Our homeland is such a lovely and beautiful and divine place. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyas is all for us. And it is for the purpose of taking us back home, where we can have home comforts, home sweetness. If we have any home consciousness within, then we must appreciate such a proposal, home sweet home. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyas is apparently very cruel to his devotees and to his family members, but it was meant only to take us to our home. To work out the ecstasy of union, it was necessary for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to show separation from his devotees and relatives. Separation and union are mutually helpful. Mahaprabhu's sannyas, his renunciation, is a great tragedy of separation. And I'm also going to read a little excerpt here that accompanies Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's picture. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur envisioned himself seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on a rooftop and expressed his heart's desire. When will the day come when Nimai Pandit will give up the robes of renunciation and again come and join us in Kirtan at the house of Srivas? Hare Krishna. So that concludes the first part of the Golden Volcano. Now we got to part 2, Śikṣāṣṭakam, the precepts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if anyone wants to follow along, it's page 141. And the heading is, the title is The Holy Name of Krishna. Yes. Well, partially visible, but good enough. Thank you. Thank you, Ramprabhu. So, it begins with the first verse of the Śikṣāṣṭakam. There we go. Perfect. So, we can all say it. You can mute out and if you want, but we can all say it together. It's the first verse. Chaito darpanam marjanam bhava mahadavagini nirvapanam shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam udivardhanam pratipadam purnamrata swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Hare Krishna. Translation. The holy name of Krishna cleanses the mirror of the heart and extinguishes the fire of misery in the forest of birth and death. As the evening lotus blossoms, as the evening lotus blooms in the moon's cooling rays, the heart begins to blossom in the nectar of the name. At the last, the soul awakens to its real inner treasure, a life of love with Krishna. Again and again, tasting nectar, the soul dives and surfaces in the ever-increasing ocean of ecstatic joy. All phases of the self, of which we may conceive, are fully satisfied and purified, and at last conquered by the all-auspicious influence of the holy name of Krishna. Illumination. Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu is the pioneer of Sri Krishna Sankirtana. He said, "I have come to inaugurate the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, and that name will reach every nook and corner of the universe. Prithvite aiche yata nagaradi grama sarvatra prachara haive moranam." What is the meaning of Sankirtan? Samyak means full and Kirtan means chanting. Together, these two words form the word Sankirtan, which generally means congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. But Samyak means full not only in quantity but also in quality. Full quantity means extensive in number, congregational. Full quality means complete praise. Complete praise can only mean the glorification of Krishna and not any other gods. So, Sankirtan means complete Kirtan, a song in praise of the complete whole, the absolute truth. Anything else is only a partial representation and therefore defective to a certain extent. Therefore, Krishna should be praised. His glories should be chanted, for He is everything. He is the master, the dispenser of both good and bad, the absolute controller of everything. Everything is due to Him. The fulfillment of all life is reached in Him alone.
Probably I like to, for people who will be listening on from the Indic background, the end of the last paragraph, the Guru Mahārāj is saying, complete praise can only mean the glorification of Krishna and not any other gods. What is missing, if you don't have the book, is the gods here is in lowercase. And it is kind of unfortunate that in the Western world or in English, there is no translation for Bhagwan. And so what is being said here is glorification of Krishna, the Supreme, the Godhead, Bhagwan, and not any other God. Is lack of, it is a poorness of English. So what is being talked here is really the demigods, in other words. Correct me if I'm wrong, Prabhu.
Technically, yes, and in any way, any which way you look, I mean, those are semantics, but it essentially boils down to the fact that it's only for Him. However you want to You want to put in all caps, you want to put in all lowercase, you want to put God over God, you can put God divided by God. Any which way, it's only for Krishna. Period.
That's the purest.
That's it. If one understands that, no need for any linguistic jugglery. It's only for Krishna. Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. There is only one God. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Avashishyate. From him has come everything, including Narayan, Vishnu, all the other avatars, all the other expansions. Everything has come from him alone. All the potencies. So it is only Krishna. Kirtanadaiva Krishnasya. Bhagavatam also says that. Kirtanadaiva Krishnasya. Mamaeva ye prapadda. What he says, come surrender to me only. That's why time and time again it's reiterated. Exclusivity. Only him. So it's a point to
again,
emphasize.
I'm coming with a lot of baggage and confusion that comes from inadequacy of intelligence and improper conception that comes in a confused society in Bharat. So this particular mantra that you just said, Purnamidam, I mean, the answer is right in front of our eyes, and at least my mind did not get it. All the
we lost sound from you, Arun Prabhu. Can you please? Okay. Can you repeat?
All the fire sacrifices, all the pujas that are done, all the purohits will always sing this particular verse, and still my little head would have confusion. No, there are multiple gods. I mean, God. I mean, everybody is starting and actually ending all the sacrifices with this one verse. That should very clearly put it in the head. There is that one, that complete, from which everything has come, and yet the complete remains complete. If only you can understand that and at least kick our, I like to kick my head every day, then there is no confusion whether it's lowercase, higher God case. There is just one.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. It's very refreshing when you have such clear conception and very, very clear and in a sweet way. It's not like, okay, he's going to replace everyone. No, it's the entire administration, the divine administration, that side is working in perfect harmony. There was never a problem. There is never a problem. And it's just like in our minds. So we have to deal with ourselves. Everything else is fine. That's the real idea of education. But people go for partial things. We were discussing right now in India, or most of the people, they're just Brahmavadis. They're just so enamored by, the intermediate, the Brahman conception, which is nothing but the warp and weft of existence. That's all it is. But just like so enamored by that. They want to forcefully extinguish their individuality and achieve some divine platform. Again, entering spirituality also becomes the same rat race that you were trying to get out of in the first place. So you have to go for the whole truth, no compromise. No compromise. It's not like we'll say, okay, well, since that is too far, let's settle for something which is near. I have heard people do that. Very qualified brahmanas, they have told me openly, saying, listen, we know Krishna's God, but he's too far. So let's just engage in the worship of material nature. She'll give us all that we need. And it was just horrible for me to hear that. Like, I know you're a Pandit, you know so much, I've come to you for help, and this is what you're telling me. You're telling me that you know who the ultimate Supreme Person is, yet you continue to engage in these other worships. Why? I mean, it's okay to honor them. I honor material nature. I honor Lord Shiva, Sadashiv, Gangadhar. I honor all of them, and it is automatic. But that doesn't mean that when you come to Bhagavad Bhakti or when you come to Kirtan, that you can mistake what has been given to us really, in essence. Kirtanadev Krishnas. Again and again. It has, and he himself is saying that. All the predecessor acharyas are saying it. We as commoners know it. So where is the problem? You're a scientist, you're a qualified scientist. You have identified this by your high sense. You're Sumedasa. So why cannot everyone else do it? Yes, please, Chinmay Prabhu.
Sukriti. Simple answer. They just don't have the fortune.
Honestly, I'll take that for now because I don't have an answer, so I can't argue with you. But it's just so disheartening to see people getting confused at this. Like, is it Lord Shiva? Is it this? Is it this? Well, just make an honest inquiry, and it's right there in front of you. Why waste so much time on this and this and this and this? When will you engage in Kirtan? So, is that right, Anilji?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Arun Prabhu?
I have met some people in my friend circle, and they go for that conception also because it gives a boost to their ego. It's such an unfortunate thing. Oh, now I am part of that way. I have been elevated. I am that, and pretty close. I am maybe equal to that.
Yeah. Oh, that famous aphorism, Tat Tvamasi. Tat Tvamasi.
Yeah. And that gives a big boost to their ego and just entangles them into this confusion even more.
So,
basically, all this is still, they are trying to fulfill their separate entity, right? They're trying to boost that ego of being separate, right?
So, yeah, see, the thing is, it's multifold. One is ego, of course, ego is intact. And so when they try to conceive of Godhead, not Godhead, just, the abstract conception of God, which is a title, it's not really a name. If you really see, God is a title. And so people think it's easier to conceive of him as avyakta, formless, and the idea that I am that is enticing, like, oh. So there is some representation in the final analysis. I have representation. How wonderful is that? Therefore, monism, and forcefully trying to extinguish their individuality, ignoring the most coveted and the most beautiful aspect of the Absolute, his qualities, his divine form, his Leela. Where is the question of Leela if you extinguish yourself? Then you're static. They're also denying the potency by denying dynamism, and by merging into that massive mass of consciousness. They're denying potency. Cannot even think of it, but such is the case. Why? Because it's all haphazard, not studying it properly, thinking that whatever comes in a sahaj way, which is basically saying sahajiya way, and that way we will accept, otherwise we will reject it. But in other sense, if they go for a course on, let's say, learning C++ or Java or anything, they won't do that. They'll go to a proper trainer, they'll go to an institute, learn, make sure they get their certificate, make sure they know, have some real working experience, Gyan, Vigyan, both. Then they will go look for a job and serve Maya. But when
they will not complain when the compiler says, no, you are not exactly as per this. Otherwise, there'll be no argumentation there. They'll simply accept that.
Yeah. So the logic, what I'm saying is that if you're so logical, if you're so intelligent, if you have high intellect, then why is it that you are not employing all of those faculties in the search for divinity, search for Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful? Why not? Why should you be haphazard here, but be planned and proper in other material pursuits? That kind of defies logic as far as I'm concerned. But if someone is logical, then they should be logical, and they should ask questions in all areas that they're trying to inquire into. Why is this selective? I don't know. So I'm not pretending to have all answers, but I'm just putting in front of the panel that it's amazing to me. And maybe what Chinmoy Prabhu said, Sukriti, maybe that is at play, but it's really not that difficult. It's not about some, to inquire into the nature of the Absolute. One simply has to listen attentively. And thank you, Abaji, appreciate it. You just have to be attentive and with a little submission, not entire, because it's not possible, and be logical. Just be logical. I don't understand, but anyway.
Prabhu.
Yes.
I mean, my feeling of the great fortune that I think we have, because you can even see like examples of like Lalita Prasad, the brother of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What happened to him? He became a Kali worshipper. You know, you are that close. You have such contact with such high divinity, and you go to worship Kali.
I don't have an answer to that. I don't know. I'm perplexed. Being honest with you. I don't understand it. So, and maybe someone can explain it. I'll be happy to hear and accept it. Because this part is just too perplexing for me. Like, it's all there. Where is the problem? No one is forcing anything. You just have to be an honest inquirer or just inquisitive, just out of being inquisitive. If you look at what's in front of you, then there should be enough. Even in Vedas, there's Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suraya Divi Chakshuratatam. Rigved. And all the Samhitas, all the Upanishad Samhitas, there's Shruti Praman, direct realization, recorded. They are direct realization. So even if you're going by Nyaya Prasthan, if you're going by like, okay, logic, pure logic, okay, then hear them. Ishopanishad itself has a mantra. The personality of Godhead is hinted at very clearly. Hiranyamayena patrena satsyapi hitam mukam tattvam pushana pavranu satya dharmaya drishtaye. That the Supreme Lord's figure is covered by this dazzling effulgence, Brahmajyoti, Hiranyamayena patrena, and it's like a curtain. And the prayer is to kindly remove that curtain so Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye, so we can actually see your lotus face and your lotus figure, your divine form. That's Upanishad, that's Shruti. Where is the problem? But then they'll again come to Avyakt and everywhere, and then they'll be happy with that and not go further. So, anyway, very perplexing. Let's continue. If unless there are other points anyone wants to make, okay. Back to Param Guru Maharaj. Anything else is only a partial representation and therefore defective to a certain extent. Therefore, Krishna should be praised. His glories should be chanted, for he is everything. He is the master, the dispenser of both good and bad, the absolute controller of everything. Everything is due to him. The fulfillment of all life is reached in him alone. Just as a horse may have reins to check his movements, but if let loose, will run freely, praise which is unchecked by any mundane purpose will run straight towards the supreme cause, Krishna. The word Shri means Lakshmi Devi, Krishna's potency. This means that in Sankirtan, Krishna is worshipped along with his potency. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. For Krishna's potency is included within him. Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu says that Shri Krishna Sankirtan should thrive throughout the world. It should be victorious without any hindrance. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. It should be a spontaneous, unchecked and natural flow. It should be exclusive, independent and without reservation. And this praise of Krishna should be congregationally chanted. That vibration is beneficial for the whole world. Only by surrender and pure devotion can we take to Sri Krishna Sankirtan? Next section is cleansing the mirror of the mind. What are the different stages through which we will pass while chanting the holy name of Krishna? The first stage is that it cleanses the mirror of the mind. If the mirror of the mental system is covered with dust, we cannot see things clearly, and scriptural advice cannot be properly reflected there. What are the different kinds of dust covering the mirror of the mind? Our infinite, fleeting, and organized desires are considered dust. And our hearts and minds are covered with layers and layers of this dust. Ichchadesh samuttena dandamohena bharata. Sarvabhutani sammoham sargayanti parantapa. Ichcha. Therefore, we cannot see things properly. They cannot properly reflect in our mind because it is covered with the infinite, ordinary desires of this mundane world. Bhukti mukti siddhikami sakali ashanta. So gyatva mam, he says gyatva mam shantim rachati. Here Param Guru Maharaj has quoted this Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami. You're running after these things, Bhukti, Mukti and Siddhi. Kami, Sakali, Ashant. You will be Ashant. Opposite of Shanti. And then, just a quick pause, the so-called persons who call themselves like liberal, they will hide behind this, or be behind this veil of this rampant consumerism and humanism together, and then they will be like, come to this platform. Humanism and consumerism, how wonderful it is. See? All for you. And we're all equal. Hare Krishna. So the first effect, back to Param Guru Maharaj, so the first effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtan is the cleansing of the mind. Cheto darpana marjanam. The Vedic social system, Varnashram Dharma, has been formed for this purpose. If we discharge our social duties perfectly without any attraction for the consequences, we achieve purification of our consciousness. But the first installment of Nam Sankirtan gives us the end result of Varnashram Dharma, purification of the heart and mind. Then we can understand Vedic advice properly. How wonderful is that? So the end goal of Varnashram is achieved, which is essentially, Param Guru Maharaj is saying, the purification of the consciousness. So one is able to see what is what. Just simply be able to discern what is what. That is achieved by the first stage of chanting of the holy name. So the end result of varnashram, following perfectly, is achieved by the first phase of chanting of the holy names. Anilji, did you get that part?
Yes, sir. I totally got it right. So basically, in technology world, right, we say don't do hard work, do smart work, right? So smart work is
See,
and not hard work, right?
Anilji got it right here. Don't just work hard, work smart.
Yeah.
So if you have something, a process that you have to follow all your life, maybe multiple lifetimes, and achieve purification of consciousness so that you can understand the purpose of the Vedas. And then compared to that, you have an alternate process that in its very first phase gets you there. What would you choose? So Anilji has already chosen in that sense. He said that is what common sense dictates. Okay. Back to Param Guru Maharaj. Nam Sankirtan gives us the end result of Varnashram Dharma, purification of the heart and mind. Then we can understand Vedic advice properly. The next effect of chanting the holy name is that it extinguishes the fire of material existence in the forest of repeated birth and death. We are forced to come into creation and again die. The mundane wave catches the soul, which mingles with that vibration in different stages. That is stopped by the second effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtana, and we become liberated. With the first stride, the intelligence is purified. With the second stride, the holy name effects liberation from the great conflagration of threefold miseries. The threefold miseries are adhyatmic miseries from the body and mind, such as disease and mental anxiety. Adibhautik miseries from our neighbors, man, beasts, insects, and so many other living beings. And adhidaivik, natural catastrophes like famine, flood, and earthquake. We have to suffer from these three kinds of miseries which burn in our heart like fire. But everything is extinguished forever by the second stride of Nam Sankirtan, which gives us relief. Bhava Mahādavagini Nirvapanam. So first step cleanses the intelligence and the heart, layers and layers of that desire, which is likened to dust, is cleared. Now we can understand, properly situated, what is what, get proper Vedic advice, understand what the Vedas are for, proceed quickly to the second stage, Bhava Mahādavagini Nirvapanam. Now, just with the second stride, we are liberated from the repeated cycle of birth and death. And we haven't even gotten to the main part yet. This is just the beginning. the chanting is not for this, it's for glorification. So this is just like side effects. The next section reads, the supreme goal of life. How about this? Should we pause here? Because it's nearly 50 minutes, I'm thinking.
Yes. Yeah.
And today is like celebration of consumerism and humanism in America. So
some of I find the day is the day of this celebration, calling it Thanksgiving. It sounds very hypocritical to me. Because in my view, it's a day of infamy and ingratitude and betrayal. When the children, so-called pilgrims, came to America, were given shelter by the native Indians here. And that is really the day that is being celebrated. Anyway, we can take a positive spin on it, out of it, but thank all our friends, all our devotees who have allowed us to move on this journey, helping each other greatly. That's our Thanksgiving. And that Thanksgiving is every day in you.
So factually, Thanksgiving was yesterday, and today happens to be a special kind of Friday where the real consumer, the bhokta in each one of us is empowered to go out and search for the most coveted appliances and products and whatnot, and consume.
It's an appropriate name, Black Friday. Dark Friday.
So, and then which will be followed by Manic Monday. No. What is that? Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday, and then some other Tuesday, and then... But consumerism must go on, and the platform must be humanism. It can get scientific, but humanism. So, but we will continue to chant, and we will continue to pray for our Guru's grace, so that we can continue and undeterred and under the protection of our acharyas, congregationally, try to do our best. I'm far from perfect, but when in association with you all, with devotees, I feel that I am not that bad. Hare Krishna. So my dandavats, and pardon my continued offenses, and let me see. Mahāprabhu is here. Mahāprabhu is saying dandavats. So dandavats from the team here. Mahāprabhu, always a pleasure to have your divine association. Who else is here? Again, my dashboard is limited. I'm really not good at anything, especially this Facebook, so I don't know. I can only see Mahāprabhu. So everyone else, please also bless us with your continued participation, and we will continue. Let me see if I can gather the troops here.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Bhaja Shri
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan.
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Gadadhara Shri Vaishnadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Raghunath.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Ichhai Gosai Kori Charana Vandan.
Eshai Gosai Kori Charana Vandan.
Jaha Hoite Vignana Shabishta Puran.
Jahate Vishwana Sabishta Puran.
Ichhai Gosai Jar Mui Taradas.
Eshai Gosai Jarmui Taradas.
Tan Savara Padarenu Mora Panchagras.
Sabara Padarenu Mura Panchagras.
Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanebas.
Padera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanebas.
Jana me mora ei abhilash.
Janame Mora Abhilash.
Ichhai Gosai Jabe Braja Koilabas.
Eshai Gosai Jabe Braja Kailabas.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Anand Bala Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Padem Jayaman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Jayaman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kariyas.
Hari Nam Sankirtana Kohe Narottama Das.
Hari Naam Sankirtana Kahe Narottama Das.
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar.
Please, Anika ji, continue.
Jai Saprika Shri Shri Guru Ganga Gandhar Govinda Sundar Giridhari Gopila Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Padma Shah Paravar Chakrara Vri Astharat Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Sundar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Padma Shah Paravar Chakrara Vri Astharat Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Rakṣhak Shri Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Padma Shah Paravar Chakrara Vri Astharat Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Sanata Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Padma Gokshor Das Babji Mahārāj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Padma Chachinan Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Padma Chachinan Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Padma Jagannath Das Babji Mahārāj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Ruga Gurvarga Ki Jai. Namaskar Shula Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Baldeva Vidyabhushan Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Narottam Sham Mandir Srinivasacharya Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Kaviraj Ki Jai. Saprasad Srinityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saprasad Shubha Mahāprabhu Ki Jai. Rashi Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Cham Kunja Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Lakshmi Varadeva Ki Jai. Through the Bhakti Vigna Vinashar Shri Nrsimha Deva Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Ganga Jamuna Ki Jai. Granta Rajesham Bhaktam Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Vishwa Vaishnava Raja Sabha Ki Jai. Akrat Mat Raja Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Tajesa Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Vishwa Pabiyat Tajesa Mat Ki Jai. Shri Damaipur Ki Jai. Shri Damnabadik Ki Jai. Vrindavan Prastatan Dham Ki Jai. Baladeva Subhadra Jagnaji Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Kunda Ki Jai. Shri Shashiva Gangraji Ki Jai. Samveta Vaishnava Mandal Ki Jai. Samveta Vaishnava Vinda Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtana Ki Jai. Nitya Gopnande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Anika ji, Preeti ji, Vikram ji and family ki jai. Our divine panelist Shripad Arun Krishna Prabhu ki jai. Our divine panelist Shripad Chinmay Dev Prabhu ki jai. Anil ji ki jai. जय ओम विष्णुपाद शिला भक्ति सुंदर गोविंद देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद शिला भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। जय भगवान शिला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद वरेण्य शिला एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। सपार्षद श्रीमन महाप्रभु की जय। रूप अनुग्रह गुरुवर्ग की जय। श्री चैतन्य सारस्वत मठ आचार्य वृंद की जय। जय शिला भक्ति पावन जनार्दन महाराज की जय। जय शिला भक्ति निर्मलाचार्य महाराज की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। All the assembled devotees की जय। नित्याय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
श्रीपद जयराम प्रभु की जय। आबादी की जय। भवानी की जय। नव प्रभु की जय।